Hey, what's up, guys? This is One Man Talk About. This is Mr. Carlitos.
And this is Josue.
Today, we're going to talk about failures, the things that we went through, the things that Carlitos went through when he was successful and then he failed, and as well as me, that our lives, how we got here, and a little bit about us.
Everybody likes to talk about when somebody's successful. Nobody likes to talk about their failures.
Yeah,
But sometimes those failures is what leads to that success.
exactly.
So we
They
want
teach you
to
a lot.
introduce you a little bit into our journey.
Failures is what pushes you forward. And how did you end up making so much money? That's the thing.
That is very funny, bro. How did I end up making all that money?
The funnier thing is that you don't even know.
That's the funny. No, I know. The one
Dedication.
thing, it's a dedication, persistence.
Hold on. Just so you guys know, Carlitos owned a album company for a few years. He had to close it down because of COVID. And then there were some laws that were going on in California. He probably will tell us later. But I was always surprised that he was very cocky in high school. Very cocky. The guy was super cocky, man. I would not believe him anything. But suddenly, dude, like I see him one day after a couple years after high school, and then he's driving a Maserati, and I'm like, what the heck? Is this guy in like the wrong business? Like, is this guy doing something that illegal? Like, what is this guy doing? And I was like, maybe it's borrowed, because I don't believe this guy, right? He's always been like, yeah, I don't, super cocky.
Have I?
He still is.
Yeah, at least I stay cocky. I'm cocky if I'm broke. I'm cocky if I have money.
Yeah, he
I've
don't
been
change.
fit and I've been 340 pounds.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter. My brain. I'm the same way whether I'm fit or fat, broke or rich.
he's always like that. So,
I guess-
but he's a good guy. He definitely helped me out a lot. So I've always wondered how this guy that did not care anything about school back in high school, he was just like me. Like, we didn't do homework or things like that. I don't know if he actually did homework.
No.
I don't.
I never did homework.
The guy was like super cocky, like always like saying that I'm a boxer, I'm a professional boxer, and all this stuff, right? And then we were like, yeah,
I was an amateur
whatever.
boxer. I was on newspapers a couple of times.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
I
were
should
like,
be.
yeah, whatever, dude. Just shut up, bro. Like, we were always like that, right? And then suddenly I see him driving these Maseratis, and then I see him driving a different Maserati, and then suddenly I see him driving an Audi A7, and I'm like, what the heck is this guy doing, right?
I own a lot of cars.
Yeah, that's what he said, right? But I was like, maybe this guy is just driving the cars from his company, whoever the company is working for. But he had his own bail bond company. I knew that because of Instagram. He was putting a lot of stuff on Instagram back in the day. Then I was like, okay, maybe it is true and all that. Now that I finally got in touch with him again, he's telling me all this money that he blew, and I'm like, what the
Don't go to the
heck,
casino,
bro?
guys.
And I used to work at the casino that he used to go.
Oh,
And I used to see him all the time, and I still did not believe it. Like, how's this guy? Maybe he's mom or something. Like, I just still did not believe this guy. And now I now believe him, right? Like, I now believe him.
It took for me to get broke for
To
you to
actually
believe me
believe
that
him,
I had
yeah.
money before.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So the guy was throwing money left and right, man. He was at the casino and all that. So probably that's part of what it didn't give him the cushion to follow with a different company, invest in something else, which is fine. I mean, we all go through that stuff. Yeah, we all make mistakes. I believe that he had a lot of money before he could mature enough to own the money, and that could happen to a lot of people. They might have, like, for example, a lot of artists, a lot of singers, they get a lot of money when they're young and they're not old enough to handle that. That's how you start making stupid decisions. So let me ask you, Carlitos, like, what have you learned so far? Because now you don't have that. Now you're working
Oh,
into
man.
getting it again. But I want to take your failures, because it's important to look at the failures. The failures is what really teaches us something. So I want to know what you have learned from all those failures. We want to make sure that we learn from your failures so we don't fail
So
the
that
same
you guys,
way.
so you guys don't do the same. So I mean, I guess, well, one of my biggest failures, I think, was it all happened too quick. I think I opened up the bail bonds company. I was 23 years old. The money didn't just start coming. I had to work in order for the company to start producing. So first couple months, I wasn't seeing any money.
But you had experience of bail bonds before.
I was
this,
already
right?
working in bail bonds
Because right
before.
after high school, you went into the bail bond business, right?
So yeah, so pretty much
With Tony the Tiger Lopez, if you're watching this, thank you very much. You created a very successful guy.
it was two people. So Tony Tiger Lopez and his wife, they taught me the bail bond industry, and then another friend of mine, his name is Mark. Right, so he's the one that kind of pushed me to open my own business.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't. After a while, I was like, man, I don't want to be a business owner. And he's the one that said, like, I'll help you out.
And
you should do it.
Sometimes
like,
you need that push.
You need that push.
And then
So-
sometimes we don't believe in ourselves.
I didn't never believe.
Was that
in-
your case?
I think that was my case. I didn't really saw myself as owning a business.
And then you have somebody outside that believes that you can do it, and then that when because that happened to me before. When you have somebody else that you respect, and that somebody believes that you can do it as well, then it makes you feel like, okay, I feel supported. Let's go.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Is that
so
what happened?
I think that's what happened. So I mean, it's a combination of people. Mark, Tony, his wife, of course, my family. Even though they didn't believe me at first, they didn't. Well, I wouldn't say believe. They just, when I first came up with the idea, oh, I'm gonna open up a bail bonds company. What are you thinking? Like, it's not gonna work. You know how many companies are out there?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like for family, I don't know. I can only talk about Latino community, Latino family. It's not that they're not supportive.
They support you, but I think they
think it's gonna be hard.
It's gonna be hard.
You might fail.
You might fail, and they believe more in you need to find a job, or you need to go to school and get an education.
Yeah.
You thinking outside of what they already believe in, it's very hard for them to back something up like that.
It's the way that we all were taught. Back when we were kids. When we were kids, go to school, go to college,
go to school,
get a
go to college, get a job, go to work,
get a degree, get a job.
I mean, it works for some people. And
it works for some people, and we need that kind of.
We need that kind of people too.
As a business owner, you need people that work for you. But at the end of the day, some people don't like that. Some people don't like to be told what to do, and I was one of them. And I feel like you were one of them.
I guess being controlled, because when you work for somebody, in a way, you're being controlled for the check. You lose your freedom for that certain amount of time while you're there. So once I opened, took a couple months, a lot of hard work, but then all of a sudden the money started coming. So I think my biggest failure was that I was not prepared. I did not know how much money I was going to make. So when I started making this amount of money that I've never seen in my life, and then the way I was making it, that it was very easy for me. Right, I'm like, man, I made this much money in this much time, and I only had to work this much for it. Like, so it was very easy for me to spend it.
Mm-hmm.
So
you didn't value the money.
I didn't value it.
I feel like money. You have to respect.
You have to respect it, and that's my biggest. I think one of my biggest mistakes. I didn't have respect for money, and I was like, man, I'm never gonna let money change me, because I mean, I was cocky. I was cocky, but I was the same amount of cocky. I didn't get more cocky. And then, like I said, I never bought or spent my money on trying to show off for people. I bought what I wanted, right? So then that's when I started buying cars. I started going to the casino, blowing it on just stuff that didn't matter. I started drinking a lot. That's probably another mistake. I used to drink all the time. Drugs, smoke. I was smoking a pack of cigarettes a day.
You have to fail so bad that it makes you go hard towards success. I don't know if that happened to you.
This is the thing that's a little different about me, bro. I didn't really fail till recently that I feel, even after like closing the business down. I've always, because I grew up boxing, right? So I had that discipline, hard work. So I think that's what helped me get to that. And then the people around me would help me get to the point where I was. I didn't fail before that. I grew up a very, modest. I didn't grow up rich, but I grew up, I never starved. I never suffered.
You need it.
I don't even say I suffered now, because even after I closed the business down, I just came to a point where I realized, I was like, man, I'm not living the life that I want to live.
You were lucky.
I was lucky.
Like you were lucky.
I didn't have to suffer.
That's good. And now is when you fail, and now you're trying to get up again.
And now that's when I was like, man, I learned the stuff that I did wrong. I didn't, like, when I had the money, I didn't respect it. And now it's like, man, now I'm working a regular 9 to 5. How do people survive with this kind of money? So then at first it's a big shock, right? Big hit. And now, like, I'm like, okay, like, man, this is the normal life. This is what a lot of people have to go through. So it's a big, like, reality check for me.
I'm the same way. I thank my parents all the time. I didn't need anything. You have to really be thankful for you being here still.
Well, I'm thankful, and I'm, because this is one thing I told my parents the other day. I was like, because it took me this long, right? I'm almost 30 years old. It took me opening up a business, losing the business, going through all this stuff in life to me to realize, damn, I really messed up in life. Because I lived so comfortably growing up. My parents bailed me out of every situation I faced that I never had to. I was living kind of like this fantasy world. Like I didn't know what it was like to work, I guess. So yeah, I didn't know what it was suffering. They kept me so sheltered that I've
Too
always
much of
thought
a good thing.
too much of a good thing could be a bad thing. If they would have let me first couple of times, that I messed up growing up, maybe I would have never had to take so long for me to figure it out.
Maybe you would have never done drugs
Maybe
and stuff.
maybe I would have never done drugs. Maybe because I didn't do drugs till I was after 18 years old. Because when I was boxing, I
You were
lived
pretty
a very
clean.
when you met me in high school.
He had a six-pack. If you guys don't believe it, he actually had a six-pack. Guy was very dedicated on boxing. He would not stop talking about it. But yeah, I had the same thing, man. And I think my parents, like I said, I had a pretty comfortable life. I never needed anything. I mean, I was one of those kids that had a car
A
at
young
16.
age. You had the whole Dexter's lab in your room.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty fortunate. It wasn't until I moved to the States where I lost my friends, right? I had a lot of friends, and when I came here to the States, it was a different culture. It was completely different. I had to learn a language. I had to learn English. That was my shock. That when I moved here to the States, that's when I can say that my life got a little rougher emotionally because physically, I mean, I had food, I still had family and stuff, but it was different. It was
Well,
so
you had a
different.
cocky friend too.
Yeah, it was until like a year after I moved here where I started having friends and hanging out and stuff like that. But it took me a while to like get accustomed because I'm from Guatemala, and you may say, hey, well, we live in Sacramento, and there's a lot of Mexicans here, but the Mexican culture is completely different. So it's not the same. It's not the same. It's like me going to Mexico, and it's a completely
Yeah, no,
different
it's
setup.
it's a
Completely
whole different
different.
setup.
What messed me up the most was debt, and still hunting me down like debt. That's what hunts me down all the time because I'm a big spender. I never had a lot of stuff.
Bro,
Like,
that's the American way.
yeah, I mean, I had the essentials my entire life, but I never had like the fancy. I did. I mean, I did had an iPod.
Well, I think Guatemala. I don't know. I think Mexico might be the same way. I'm not. Maybe times have changed. In order to own a car, you pretty much have to pay the whole thing off, right?
Yeah,
There was
I
no
mean,
like loans. I
there
don't. Maybe
is
there is
in
now.
Guatemala. There's loans and everything, but
Interest
the
rate is
loans are for
outrageous.
people that have money
People have money, not
and
just
that
anybody
could pay
can.
for it
Yeah.
cash.
United States, you have a job, your credit is not the greatest. Well, still, here's the keys to the car. That's your new car. That's your monthly
Yeah.
payment. Get full coverage. Enjoy your car. But now you have a bunch of debt.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the problem. Yeah, there's too many nice things here in the States compared to other countries. It's a lot of nice things. Like the United States gets all the latest and greatest all the time, technology wise. That's what makes you, want
Is
to
that
get
why you
stuff.
came here? Because of the tech? Since
Yeah,
you're a tech
most
guy,
likely. Like
most likely that's what motivated
yeah.
you to come here.
I always I used to come to the States all the time every year for Christmas because I had a lot of family here. And every time I would come here, like my family, knowing that I was from Guatemala and I had less opportunities than my cousins here, they will always buy me presents. So I had a table full of presents. I have 6 uncles. They will buy me a lot of stuff, dude. A lot of toys,
So what do they buy you?
money. So I will come back to Guatemala loaded with toys, money, and all that. So I was like, "Oh, that's the American life. I want to be there." I always wanted to come here to the States, and that's what motivated me. I wanted to be here with the rest of the family, and
Then when you got here, you're like,
this is tough,
"Man,
man.
This is not
I
what
actually
this is not
gotta
what I
work
thought."
hard for my money, man. That's pretty much what happened. But it wasn't. I think it was my life was pretty simple because, like you said, whenever you had an issue, your parents were there to back you
Yeah,
up, which
they
is
would
fine. But it
sometimes it
wasn't.
hurts you.
Yeah, and it wasn't until my divorces that
That's when you really suffered.
I really suffered. I really suffered. It made me. I can tell you that failure right there, those moments, I don't regret them. I don't because they taught me so much. Besides getting rid of toxic females because they were toxic, I now know that it wasn't all me
We wish
because
them
I
the
used
best.
to
We wish them the best.
I used to think it was just me. I used to. That was my
So
mentality. It was just
so at
me.
first you thought it was just your issue,
Yeah,
and then you realized no,
100% my
it was
issue.
both of you guys' issue, and
Yeah.
was that your self-esteem was low, or was that
Probably it's because the way I was raised. I was raised by a very feminist environment. I was in a very feminist environment. I'm the youngest of six, and then my brothers and sisters, all of them are mainly olders. But I grew up with my two older sisters and my mom. My dad was always working, especially when I was little. So I did not hang out with my dad that much at all. My dad was older. He was just always trying to push me to do things that I didn't want to. You know, I didn't have the greatest relationship with my dad. I was just very attached to my mom and my sisters, and
bro?
they.
Now that I don't mean to interrupt you, right? But you know me, like once I'll probably forget from too much boxing
He already
punches.
forgot.
I kind of already did. This makes so much sense of why you want to start the channel.
Yeah.
Like I never saw that perspective. So
Yeah.
you grew up you're the youngest of six. You grew up in a very feminine. You said you're very feminist
Super, yeah.
environment, right?
Yeah.
So you want to be that male role model, or for all these other young
Yeah,
people that
what
grew
I
up like
didn't
you.
have.
What you didn't have that
I didn't get to
growing up.
my older brother that used to live with us. He came to the States when I was 4.
Yeah, so you
So
grew
I
up
didn't
in
have an example. I didn't have like a role model. I only remember him very little when I was little. So and then my dad was 50 years old when I was born. So by the time I was like 10, he was already 60. So he was old. He was like a grandpa.
yeah.
So he would tell me
you-
the same things all the time. I mean, I appreciate my dad. He taught me a lot, but
He taught you how to tie it.
he did not teach
tie
me
a
how
tie.
to treat women. He did not teach me that.
How to value yourself or respect yourself. Or,
Yeah, he did not teach me that either.
Sounds like you grew up lacking that confidence.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. As a guy that don't know exactly anything about females, when you have an issue with a female, you go to your sisters or your mom, and then
You're gonna
they
get
give
the
you
girl.
bad.
You're gonna get the girl version
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, they're gonna give you bad advice. So they're not gonna give you the advice that you need to hear. So it was always like, you need to treat a woman like this. You need to treat a woman right. It was always like, you gotta do the best you can to treat a woman,
I mean, which is not bad advice, right? But for what kind of woman?
but it's not what you
no,
need.
not what you need.
Like for
especially-
example, I can tell you that a comparison with my relationships, it is so easy to show love. What does a female like? A female likes to feel protected and feel loved, right? And then for me, it was so my relationship right now, it's so easy to show that love and show that protection. It comes naturally. I already want to take care of her. I want to make sure she's safe. She drives the safest car. She's the only one with a dash cam. Like, I make sure she's protected, she's all good. But on the other relationships, for some reason, that wasn't natural. I would do those things, but it wasn't
because
natural.
you
I
kept
didn't
hearing
want
them from
to.
your.
Yeah, like that was what I supposed to do, but it wasn't coming naturally. I didn't really wanted to do it.
Your wife might like hearing this podcast.
Oh yeah, she listens to all the podcasts.
Well, she might like this one more because
I tell her all the
you
time.
know what I think the difference is.
But
You actually love this one.
Yeah.
You were not in love with the
Yeah.
other ones
but
because now it's a natural thing.
when I started dating her, I really wasn't looking for anything. I wasn't looking for any dates, or I wasn't looking for anything. It wasn't because you don't fall in love because she's pretty. I fell in love with her because what she does for me. She does everything I wanted a woman to take care of me. In a way, she treats me like my mom treats me. She's making sure I am prepared for the day. She makes sure that I'm happy. She tries to make me happy. And she doesn't expect anything in return, even though that she does get what she needs, which is feeling protected and feeling loved, because it's a circle. She gives me the respect I need. When I said no is no, I need that respect. And I automatically feel love towards her. I show her love because I'm getting what I need, so it's easy for me. And so when I go ask her, why you treat me so nice, and she's like, it's so easy because you love me, because I feel that you love me.
So it's
So
easy for
it
you.
comes
it's
out
easy for her.
naturally
So
to her.
it's a cycle.
She was in a different relationship back in the day, and she did not do nearly anything that she does for me, because she did not feel loved by that guy. She did not feel protected by that guy. And then another thing that I like is that she doesn't take advice for other women that says, oh, you should find a job. Oh, you should do this. Oh, you shouldn't be doing that for him. That's toxic. And then if you guys are dating, I recently noticed if your girl or your wife has female friends, right? And then one of them is single, that woman that is single, and if she's depressed, she's going to try to sabotage all her friends' relationship.
Misery loves company.
Misery
That's
loves company.
it.
I did not realize that. It doesn't have to be their friends. It can be your own family. It can be her family. He's not letting you go out. You should go out. You shouldn't be asking him for anything. That's why you should get a job. All that in their mind, if they start believing it, your relationship is going to end. It's going to fail. So be careful who your wife or girlfriend is hanging out with. It is very important who you surround yourself with. Because at the beginning of this podcast, Carlitos mentioned that he had a group of people that pushed him to do better. I have a group of people that is also pushing me to do better. People that believe in you. Sometimes we hang out with the wrong people, and these people might be nice. They might look for you when they want to go party. They might look for you because they don't have anybody to drink with. But this kind of people is toxic. This is the kind of people that you want to stay away from. You want to be surrounded with the people that is going to push you to do better.
Or you could be the toxic one. And then you have to realize that you're the toxic one, and you have to change that about yourself, you know.
Dude.
So it's very important who
you
surround yourself with, who you pick to be your friends or your inner circle.
Yeah, because here's the thing: if you hang out with people that are smarter than you, you're gonna learn a lot of stuff.
You're gonna learn a lot of stuff. You could be the dumbest one out of the group,
and that's okay.
That's okay.
That's even better because you know that you can just get at their level. Once you hang out with them enough, you can get at their level. You're gonna learn the same things that they do. And that's a key. You want to get girls, hang out with the guys that get girls and do the same things that they do. That's how you do it. You want to get fit? Find gym buddies. Find a gym buddy that is going to wake you up at 4 a.m. and tell you, get your ass up. We're going to the gym, bro.
Sometimes your phone dies, though.
Yeah. But we keep each other accountable. Who likes to work out? Do you like to work out?
Sometimes. I mean, there's days, there's good days, there's bad days, and I like the feeling you get afterwards.
Yes.
When you're done.
I don't like working out, but I have to do it, and I do it. I stopped going to the gym for like 2 years because I was very fit back in the day. I stopped going to the gym. I was going on and off, but since Carlos, I started hanging out with Carlos again, and he wanted to be at the gym. He wanted to lose weight. He wanted to do that. That kind of pushed me forward into like, okay, so I haven't missed that many days anymore at the gym. You know,
the consistency and the discipline.
It's a
now.
lot better.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
And then
for me too, because now today, if I don't go to the gym or if I don't feel like going to the gym, hey bro, it's 4 a.m. Let's go to the gym. Are you on your way? Or if I don't respond to your text, you call me, or vice versa. Yeah. I wake up and then the first thing I do, I'm like, hey bro, I just woke up. I'm on my way to the gym.
Yeah.
If I don't hear from you, then I'll start calling the phone.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's accountability. Normally, you want to go to the gym. The best way to be more consistent is get yourself some gym buddies.
Yeah,
because now it's accountability.
Helps. So not only something to go to the gym, but also you can do this in a business. You know, hey, let's go create a business. Let's start a business. Keeping each other accountable. 2 minds are better than 1. 3 minds are better than 1. We've been talking about this lately.
The wolf pack, bro. We got to build the wolf pack.
Wolf pack, man. And I want you guys to be part of it. You guys, especially the guys that subscribe, I want you guys to be part of a wolf pack, because you guys might be learning things from me and from Carlos, but we want to learn things from you as well.
It's who you know, not what you know. You know who's the first time I heard that from who?
No.
You know him.
Tony the Tiger. Tony the Tiger Lopez. Very cool guy, man. Yeah, I've been helping him with his podcast.
12 rounds of adrenaline.
Yeah.
Subscribe to his channel. Check it out.
12 rounds of adrenaline.
I met him when I was 18 years old. And that's the one thing I remember that he told me. He's like, man, he's like, vato.
Hey, what's up, vato?
What's up, vato? Bro, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And like that's really what, like, you know, it's helped me out in my life sometimes. So,
but I think that's it, man. We can continue later on.
We'll continue later on. We'll talk about the Wolfpack. We'll talk about networking, helping each other out.
Like, share, and subscribe. Yeah. And thank you for our sponsor, Elite Solar Care. If you guys have solar panels and would like to get them clean, go to elitesolarcare.com, fill out the form, and then within 24 hours, they will give you a quote. Right now, they're working in Northern California.
I did not know that you lose up to 40% of power when you have your dirty solar panels.
Yeah, check them out. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for watching.